Hello, YouTube. It's me, John Avenger, once again, and welcome to another Black Power Month. Yeah, this is another review for this is a movie from 1984 that started a huge trend in Hollywood back in the 80s, and it continues today. It's an American breakdancing themed musical film. They don't sing in it, but there's a lot of dancing in it. Directed by Joel Silberberg and written by Charles Parker and Alan de Beauvoir, based on a story by Parker Dubois and Gerald Scaffey, and that is the original Breaking. Breaking. There it is. This movie's pretty decent. It's not much on plot, but I'll get to that. But I could say the little plot that there is there, the meat of the story. The film's setting was inspired by a 1983 documentary titled Breaking and Entering, set in the multiracial hip-hop clan or club Radiotron, based out of MacArthur Park in Los Angeles. Yeah. Breaking was one of the final canon film productions released by MGM United Artists. After release, MGM and Canon dissolved their distribution deal, ported over the potentially X-rated content in John Derek's Bolero, and MGM then's policy of non-theatrical release X-rated material, forcing Canon to become an in-house distribution company once again. Yeah, that's when they did Masters of the Universe, Superman 4, etc. Because of this, Breaking is considered to be the final financially profitable film released by Canon. Yeah, because every other movie was a bomb. But they got a cult following. Breaking was released in theaters May 4th, 1984, so it was before I was born. And despite receiving negative reviews, because there's not really a plot, it's black street dancers wanting to get their shot to do better outside of their realm and into an actual Broadway show to do jazz dancing and break dancing, and they succeed. There's some racist white people that want to keep them off and try to silence their voices, but the black power comes from the cast. There was a sequel too, but I'll get to that one once I see it. And the main girl is a white girl, Kelly Special K Bennett, played by Lucinda Dickey, who's a very attractive woman, even though her hair here, she has that 80s haircut, that short hair, lesbian haircut, but it's manageable. Then you have the guys here. You have Ozone, played by Adolfo Shabadoo Quinones. You have Michael Boogaloo Shrimp Chambers as Tony Turbo Ainley. He looks like my friend Josh without glasses. Great dancer. You have an early role from Ice-T. This is before he was known as a rapper and an actor. You have Chris the Glove Taylor as Club Radiotron DJ. You got Christopher McDonald. Yeah, he's a really good actor who plays a lot of scumbags in Flubber, Iron Giant, Happy Gilmore. He's in a lot of films. You have Phineas Newborn the third. He plays the very flamboyant, stereotypical gay black best friend. Again, we see that in shows and movies all the time now because this decade's pretty gay, guys. What can I say? There's nothing else I can say about that. You have some cameos as well. Jean-Claude Van Damme is actually a spectator in the first dance sequence. I didn't see him. I probably have to see the movie again. But the dancing's really good. The acting is pretty decent for most of the cast. Most of these people are dancers, not really the best actors. And like I said, it's thin on plot, but if you've seen Step Up and Stop the Yard and all these You Got Served, these movies are not going to be Oscar worthy. They're just dance flicks that you see for like about 90 minutes or less. This is 86 minutes long. It goes by at a pretty relenting pace. And you get some really great 80s music in the film. It was 1984, so. And Roger Ebert was stiff on this. I don't know why, because it's a freaking dance flick. This isn't Flashdance. That movie has a better plot and it has more meat to the story because, it's about Jennifer Beals' journey from going from a worker, she's like a factory worker to being a dancer. Here's kind of the same plot, except it's, shorter. He gave it 1.5 stars, stating that the movie was a stiff and awkward story. I know it's not a deep plot, but I'd rather have something fun and entertaining spectacle than some bullshit drama that's 3 hours long that bores me to death. Interrupted by dance sequences and astonishing grace and power. He praised the dancing and the chemistry of the stars. Yeah, the cast have a good time dancing with each other. There's a lot of positive energy in the movie, despite the minor racism, because again, guys, it was the 80s. That was a big thing in the 80s. You know, race was big in the 80s like it is now, but it was way more back then. And they didn't try to hide it. Nowadays, it's the only driving force for entertainment. The supporting characters, yeah, they're not really much. You have the white guy, what's his name? Franco. He owns his dance company, and he wants Kelly to work for him. And then she's like, we don't, it's not like your kind here. And I'm like, I get it. We get it already, Franco. We get it. You don't like black people. We get it. I mean, I saw Do the Right Thing. It came out a few years after this, and I'm like, it's the same thing. Racial, social relation issues. I get it. As a person of color, I get it. I get racially profiled all the time. But the movie got a cult following. See, it says, several months prior to the film's release, Shabba-Doo, Boogaloo Shrimp, Poppin' Taco, Poppin' Pete, DJ Chris, and Lollipop are all prominently featured in the music video, Shaka Khan's remake of the Prince song, I Feel For You. Breaking and its sequel had a resurgence in popular media as people have begun to remember, mock, and praise the film over 20 years later with the sequel subtitle, yeah. And of course, Breaking was referenced in the first episode of Mixed Dish because again, everything is about race now. I get it. Back in the 80s, they did it in a subtle way without shoving it in your face. This movie never says Black Lives Matter, not once. It's in the actors speak for themselves, you know. Nowadays, everything has to be like that, even when it's not needed. Like in Supergirl, the TV show, the last season had like 2 Black Lives Matter episodes, and it didn't work. Here, I get it. And the movie's short. It doesn't overstay its welcome. Like Spike Lee does good films, but some of them are too long. They're like 2 hours and 10 minutes. And I'm like, this is only 86 minutes long. So Josh, if you see this, it's worth a watch. And it won't cost you a lot of time. It's decent. It's really well shot. Good dancing. Low budget, but they made the most of it. This movie cost $1.2 million. And it made $38.7 million. That's more than any drama in the past 3 years since the pandemic hit. You know why? Because people wanted to be entertained. Not bored to death, depressed, or preached to. And we get it. Prejudice sucks. We get that. With every one of these movies, whenever there's black leads or dancers or whatever, or voice actors, there's always going to be some kind of controversy. But here, it worked to its benefit. It didn't take away from the film. So I'm going to see the sequel and then I'll review that. This one is worth a watch. You can stream it somewhere on streaming services. It's not hard to find. Breaking. There's no G in it. It's Breakin apostrophe. There's no G in it. You'll probably enjoy it. They don't say the N word either. That's nice. Thanks for that. But anyway, it's worth your watch. It's worth at least one watch. Yeah, there's some racism and there's a British guy at the end that wasn't even needed. But hey, it is what it is. It's a product of its time. Thanks for watching. Take care. And I'll see you in the next review.